The NBA season is creeping closer, and with media days kicking off around the league, the excitement is starting to feel real again. The buzz is everywhere, from Zion Williamson declaring he's healthy and ready, to teams unveiling fresh looks with new jerseys. Even the Boston Celtics have jumped into the mix, showing off their new City Edition uniforms that turned heads with a bold gold trim and a completely green-free design. It's a nod to history, a splash of flair, and a clear sign that the season is right around the corner. And look, when we start talking Celtics this time of year, it's not just about how the jersey looks or which media day quote goes viral. It's also about the decisions this front office still has to make. Financial flexibility is the name of the game right now, and Boston isn't done moving pieces around. That's not a rumor. That's a reality. The Celtics still need to duck under that second apron, and unless something unexpected happens, they'll have to make at least one more roster move before things are fully set. Now, in classic Celtics daily fashion, the trade machine is firing up again. Because what's an off-season update without tossing around the name of Anthony Simons, right? The guy's talented, no question. There's plenty to like about what he brings to the table. Scoring pop, upside, age, you name it. But at the same time, Boston is staring down the barrel of financial decisions that could shape the next few seasons. And the reality is, Simons, despite his talent, might be the odd man out. There's already chatter about a potential three-team deal cooking up that could help the Celtics save close to $9 million while reshuffling their depth. The version floating around is Boston receiving Malik Monk and big man Isaac Jones. Monk giving them a proven scorer off the bench, and Jones being more of a throw-in to make the money work. The Warriors, in this scenario, would land Anthony Simons, a higher upside Monk type that might fit better within their system. The Kings, meanwhile, would get Buddy Hield and Jonathan Kuminga, who's been in trade talks all summer long. It's the kind of deal that checks a lot of boxes for all three franchises. Golden State's been hunting for shooting and secondary creation off the bench. Simons fits that mold. Sacramento has been active and aggressive, and getting a young wing like Kuminga with upside, plus a floor-spacing vet like Hield helps them reload. Boston, meanwhile, clears salary and still walks away with someone in Monk who can contribute immediately. But the question is, will it happen before the season starts? Or are we looking at a mid-season trigger pull here? The Celtics could choose to head into training camp as is, keep evaluating the roster, and hold Simons as a trade chip closer to the deadline. It wouldn't be the first time a front office decided to buy more time before making the tough call. And let's be honest, there's still a strong group within Celtics Nation that would hate to see Simons go. At the same time, the buzz around his future in Boston isn't quiet. Behind the scenes, there's been steady talk that the Celtics aren't completely tied to him long-term. That doesn't mean a move is guaranteed, but when enough whispers line up, it usually points to something real. And with other contenders tightening their own cap situations, it wouldn't be surprising to see a multi-team deal go down that reshapes rotations and relieves some financial pressure. While all this is happening, Golden State is clearly in scramble mode. It's late September. They've had a shockingly quiet offseason. Kuminga's still sitting in limbo, and the Warriors are looking for answers. They've already been linked to several veteran names. Guys like Al Horford, De'Anthony Melton, Seth Curry, and Gary Payton II try to retool their rotation and get back to contention. But none of those names alone push the needle. Simons, on the other hand, might be that missing piece. He gives them youth, scoring, shooting, and can slide into different backcourt combinations. He's not perfect. Defensively, he has limitations, but Golden State has thrived before by hiding weaker defenders within a strong system. The bigger question is, can they put together a deal that makes sense without totally draining their assets? And for Boston, there's another layer. Even if they like Simons, and even if they think he can grow into a bigger role, the harsh reality of the new CBA looms large. The financial penalties tied to that second apron aren't just annoying, they're crippling. You're limited in how you sign players, how you make trades, and how you build flexibility for the future. And when you're trying to compete for a title every year, that flexibility matters more than ever. But the offseason isn't just about trade rumors and salary cap math. There's been plenty of other storylines floating around, And one of the biggest has to do with leadership inside the Celtics locker room. Jason Tatum recently sat down with Sports Illustrated and gave some insight into how locked in he is this season. And if you've been wondering whether Tatum really feels the weight of being the guy in Boston, this interview might have answered your question. Tatum spoke openly about what it means to wear the Celtics jersey, what it means to represent the franchise's history, and how much pride he takes in that responsibility. He's not just saying the right things. He seems to genuinely believe them. And after everything that happened in last year's playoffs, that brutal injury in the middle of one of his best postseason performances, it feels like Tatum is on a mission this year to cement himself as not just a star, but a foundational piece of Boston sports history. He's always been an all-NBA guy. He's always had the numbers. But this year, this might be the year we see the emotional leadership step up to a whole new level. And a lot of that credit goes to head coach Joe Mazzulla. Now, if you follow the team for a while, you know that Mazzulla has been a polarizing figure. His post-game quotes are bizarre. His obsession with the town movie is borderline ridiculous. But here's the thing, Mazzulla is present. He's active. He's invested. And according to Tatum, he's been there every step of the way through his recovery process, from the first moment he walked without crutches to his return to the practice court. That stuff matters. It might not show up in a box score or a spreadsheet, but building trust and support behind the scenes is what creates sustainable locker room chemistry. Mazzulla's been to Jaylen Brown's events. He's flown across the country to support Derek White and Peyton Pritchard, and he's made it a priority to show his players that he's all in. It's a throwback approach, almost like a college coach who sees himself as a mentor as much as a tactician. And yeah, you could debate the timeout strategy or the three-point volume all day. But when it comes to emotional intelligence and relational leadership, Mazzulla looks like he's taken major steps. So when Tatum talks about feeling supported, when he talks about his connection to the franchise, part of that is coming from the culture being built around him. That's something fans should feel encouraged by heading into this season. The fact that Utah's not locking him up now signals that a trade could be on the horizon. Teams are always looking for value in the front court, especially young, defensive-minded bigs on rookie deals. Kessler is making around $4 million this year, and for any team looking to add a shot-blocking presence with upside, this is a no-brainer. And sure, his free throw shooting is shaky, and the offensive ceiling isn't superstar level. But defensively, he's legit. Over 2.5 blocks per game in his young career, third in Rookie of the Year voting, and clearly a guy who could start for a playoff team right now. If the Celtics, or any other contender, see an opening, don't be shocked if they make a move before the deadline. So much of this season will come down to which teams are proactive versus which teams wait too long. And Boston, for all its talent, still has one or two decisions to make. Will they roll the dice on the current roster? Will they shed Simons to get under the tax line? Could they make a sneaky play for a guy like Kessler? All of it's on the table. And the best part? We're finally getting real updates again. The off-season speculation is turning into actual storylines. The gears are turning. The Celtics are moving. While the situation with Walker Kessler continues to develop, there's another name in the restricted free agent pool that's also drawing attention: Quentin Grimes. And just like Kessler, Grimes is navigating this murky landscape of the new NBA economy, one where restricted free agents aren't exactly being rushed into new deals. It's a strange evolution of the market. We used to see RFAs signed before camp or locked into extensions early, but that's clearly not the case anymore. And Grimes is stuck in the middle of it. Now, if you've been seeing headlines about Grimes skipping media day or not traveling with the team overseas, that's not because of drama or some contract holdout gone rogue. It's simple. He's not officially on the roster. Until that deal gets done, Grimes is technically not part of any organization. So no, he's not going to be flying overseas or smiling for the cameras during media day. But what's important is that he's still in the plans, or at least that's the signal coming out of Philadelphia. The Sixers have been doing their usual dance, playing the long game, waiting out the market, seeing if any other teams toss out an offer sheet that forces their hand. But that offer hasn't come. Not yet, anyway. And what's becoming more obvious with each passing week is that teams are increasingly hesitant to throw money at restricted free agents, knowing that most of the time the original team just matches the deal anyway. So you tie up cap space, you wait around, and in the end, you lose the player. That's not a great use of resources, and front offices are adjusting. But in Grimes' case, the holdup might also be tied to how Philadelphia is structuring the rest of their cap. They're in a tight spot, trying to balance present competitiveness with future flexibility. And remember, they're already committing big money to Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Every dollar counts. So even if they want to keep Grimes, and by all indications, they do, it's still going to come down to timing, cost, and what the final cap sheet looks like before opening night. The situation isn't isolated either. Jonathan Kuminga is still floating around without a clear future in Golden State. Cam Thomas had to settle for a qualifying offer in Brooklyn, which was a shocking development considering how productive he's been in limited minutes. And all of this points to a bigger shift in how teams are operating under the current CBA. Flexibility is the most valuable asset right now. Not draft picks, not young talent. Flexibility. And that shift is changing how front offices handle everything from trades to extensions to roster construction. Take Cam Thomas, for example. He signs the qualifying offer, and now he's playing this season on a short deal with unrestricted free agency looming. That's dangerous if you're Brooklyn. You know he's going to be motivated to put up numbers. He's going to be looking for a payday. But at the same time, the Nets haven't always shown a willingness to give him consistent minutes. It's a volatile mix, and it could lead to even more instability in a locker room that's already trying to figure out its identity post-super team era. Meanwhile, Golden State's situation with Kuminga might be even messier. We're in late September, and the Warriors still haven't figured out what to do with him. He's been dangled in trade talks, speculated about all summer, and yet nothing's materialized. And the longer that drags out, the worse it gets for all sides. For the player, it's frustrating to live in limbo. For the organization, it's a distraction. And for potential trade partners, it creates uncertainty about how serious Golden State is about making a move. And look, we've seen the Warriors already connected to several pieces this offseason. They're interested in bringing in guys like Horford, Melton, Seth Curry, and Peyton too, veterans who can shoot, defend, or provide depth. But all of those moves still feel like surface-level tweaks. They need a real shift, someone who changes their ceiling. Someone like Simons could do that. But that means figuring out a package that gives value without completely gutting their remaining assets. And that brings us right back to Boston. Because if the Warriors really want Simons, or if they're desperate enough to make a move soon, the Celtics could benefit. Whether that's by jumping into a 3-team deal or working something out directly, the options are there. But again, Boston isn't just going to give Simons away. They know he's talented. They know what he can become. This move, if it happens, has to check a lot of boxes. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Whispers are swirling around the NBA, and Boston Celtics fans may want to brace themselves. According to sources close to the organization, Jason Tatum, the franchise cornerstone and face of the Celtics' modern era, could be considering a departure for Boston. While nothing has been officially confirmed, the rumor mill has been churning, and insiders suggest that conversations are already underway behind closed doors. Tatum, who has been a consistently dominant presence for the Celtics since being drafted, has transformed into one of the league's premier stars, leading the team to multiple deep playoff runs and carrying the weight of a championship pursuit on his shoulders. His smooth scoring, defensive versatility, and clutch performances have made him synonymous with Boston basketball. Yet, despite his success on the court, speculation now points to potential tension over the team's direction, contract negotiations, and the desire to explore new challenges in his career. The mere idea of Tatum leaving Boston has sent shockwaves through social media, with fans divided between disbelief and cautious acceptance. Some argue that the Celtics' recent roster moves and front office decisions may not align with Tatum's championship ambitions, making a move elsewhere increasingly plausible. Others maintain that Tatum's deep ties to the city and the storied Celtics legacy could keep him anchored in green, at least for the foreseeable future. League insiders hint that several high-profile franchises are monitoring the situation closely, recognizing that acquiring a talent of Tatum's caliber could instantly reshape the championship landscape. Rumors suggest that if a deal were to materialize, it could involve blockbuster trades and a reshuffling of star players, sending ripples throughout the NBA. For now, Boston remains in a state of anxious anticipation. Every practice, every press conference, and every off-court comment from Tatum is being scrutinized for clues. The Celtics organization has remained tight-lipped, issuing nothing but standard statements. Yet the buzz persists, growing louder with each passing day. As the league watches and fans speculate, one thing is certain. If Jason Tatum does decide to leave, the NBA world will never be the same. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.